The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com. Hello and welcome to another live episode of Wrestling with Johners on this glorious Wednesday evening. And this is episode 270, doing some great stuff. And this is the anniversary month to celebrate 4 years of Wrestling with Johners. Today, I've got another amazing guest as my live guest across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. He's having a fantastic breakout year in 2022. None other than the King of Bedlam, Rob Drake. Rob, thank you so much for coming on the show this week. How are you doing?
I wasn't expecting that intro, Thank you so much. I'm doing great. Like I said, before it's aired, a little bit under the weather, but other than that, better than ever.
Absolutely. And I'm sure once we get started, you'll forget all about the cold. But if you want to get in touch with Rob Drake from home, if you're watching live, you want to send through your questions, you can do. Send them through to us using your chosen device. They'll ping through to us and we'll do our very best to bring every single one up on screen during the course of this live stream with Rob Drake. But first of all, Rob, the first thing I want to talk to you about is this past weekend. You were wrestling in a TNT Extreme Ring at Liverpool Comic Con. Quite a unique show for a wrestling event to be there. Not the first time a wrestling show's ever been in a convention like that, but certainly unique, not every day. Tell us about that, because I think you performed on the Saturday and I think you were there throughout the whole weekend. But what was your experience of performing at Liverpool Comic Con this past weekend?
Oh, man, it literally ticked one off the bucket list, mate. Honestly, it was just such an incredible experience. I'm a massive dork. I am the biggest Star Wars fan ever. If I can, I'll post a picture of all my Star Wars figures.
Brilliant.
A lot of money, worth a lot of money, but they're all mine. Yeah, I'm a massive dork. I love everything to do with comic books and, pop culture and things like this and horror films. So it was just incredible. I couldn't believe it. And there was a good few thousand there, which was... yeah, pretty crazy. But it was fantastic.
Yeah. And like I say, this was the match that you were involved in, I believe, unless it changed on the day. But it's a 6-man tag there. Alexander, yourself and Isaac North versus Big Guns Joe and the tag team Crash Boat, of course. But you said it yourself, hundreds, if not thousands of people there. Fantastic venue, and look at that, just for a sample of what you experienced as a performer that day. But I have to ask you, like I say, quite a unique venue, quite a unique setting, but probably only a small portion of actual wrestling fans, and a lot of the other guys and girls there for the other signees to see the other stars signed in at the tables, but they all were attracted to the wrestling. How did it feel to kind of perform in front of not just wrestling fans, but other people that might not be too familiar with wrestling, but were hooked by it nonetheless?
Oh, I love it. That's the challenge, isn't it? It's one thing wrestling in front of wrestling fans, they know what they're going to get. But to wrestle in front of non-wrestling fans, which, I've done through a lot of my career through the camp shows. A lot of these kids are wrestling fans, but the parents aren't. And they think it's, they don't know what to think of it. So it's my job to create new fans, and it's a challenge, but it's really fun because you can really tell who is a good character, who is a ring general, who can really demand the attention from an audience. Wrestling fans will always. It's easy to get them to cheer sometimes, if I don't show I could swear and the fans would go, oh, but to get a genuine non-wrestling fan to go, oh, wow, oh my God, oh, he's hurt, or, or have some form of reaction. There's a real sense of gratification there, and I really love it. It was fantastic. I'm on cloud 9 because of it. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, I've spoken to so many pros that have done camp shows, and this is probably the closest equivalent. And I spoke to Joel Redman last year, and he said if you can get the dad of the kid who's cheering on his feet and involved in the action, then you know that you've won the day. You know you've done your job properly. But we've had a few people get in touch already. Jack Knudsen, one half of Act 2. I've had them on the show recently this year. The King, of course, is on the show this week, and Ethan Allen is watching also. Nice lights, Rob. Yes. But there we go. So yeah, very nice lights. I'm not sure you chose them, but never mind. But we'll get to some more questions that have come through already. And please send through your questions, send through your comments. And like I say, this is going to be a really fun one. But did you get a chance to walk the convention yourself? You said you're a big nerd, a big Star Wars fan. Did you get to have your photos with any of your heroes or get a signature or two?
Unfortunately, I tried to get a photo with Charlie Hunnam, who's plays Jax Teller in Sons of Anarchy. Huge Sons of Anarchy fan. Probably could tell. I look like I should be in a biker gang. But yeah, I tried to get a photo with him, but he had sold out. It would be really disrespectful for me to jump the queue in front of all these fans that paid money to get a photo with him. So yeah, I understand that completely. So no photographs or autographs, anything like that. Well, I mean, I have photographs with Kratos, or there was so many other characters there I wanted to get photos with, but definitely walked the aisle looking for the perfect gift for my fiance. Trying to find the Final Fantasy stuff was a nightmare, but once I wrestled, I stayed in my ring attire and just walked the walked the whole venue. Definitely got a few funny looks, but no, it was good fun. And my partner Isaac North, who's like really huge, and he's got like face paint, and he just looks terrifying. And we're all just looking for Final Fantasy stuff. So he's great. You make me miss.
There's so many people there in cosplay. I probably just thought that you were cosplaying, some wrestlers or some video game characters.
Well, funnily enough, a man came up to me, and he was convinced I wasn't dressed as him. He convinced I was him. He came. He went, "You're Aleister Black," and I went, No, I'm not. I'm not dressed as him. He went, "No, but you are Aleister Black." And I said, "No, I'm not." He went, "So are you dressed as Aleister Black?" And I went, No, I'm me. I'm a wrestler." And he went, "Oh, cool." And I went, "Yeah, my name's Rob Drake." And he's like, "No way, that is so cool." His mind blown. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Do I look like Aleister Black, man? Like, come on."
Oh, that's a great story. But the last time we saw one another was in Burnley, wasn't it? Probably last month now, and how time flies. At Unstoppable British Wrestling at Turf Moor, and a great show, a packed house. I think there had about 430 people in there. And like I say, a great day for you as well, Rob. You turned up. You had a number one contenders match with Sam Gradwell. Yeah. Won that match, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then you went on, and to the surprise of everybody, you cashed in at the end on Philip Michael, and then you became the new champ, the new Unstoppable British Wrestling champion by the end of the night. So a great story, a great day for you. But let's talk about Sam first of all. Sam Gradwell, somebody I believe you know very well. I'm going to bring up some pictures here because look at this. This is like stop frame motion. This, and you eventually see the elbow there, and eyes of the fans. Fantastic photos there from the photographer on the day. But tell us about Wrestling Sam, because like I say, one of the top pros anywhere, absolutely anywhere. And you two had a fantastic match that Saturday afternoon.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, me and my brother, Sam and my brother have such a long history. They grew up on the camps together, and they wrestled 500 odd times, probably more than that. So they know each other, they know each other like the back of the hand. So where I actually had 2 shows that day. I had a camp show just before the UBW show, and I actually got to hang out with Sam for the first time properly, just me and him, and he couldn't quite come to terms that I was Rob, and he had to kind of like snap himself back into reality. He was like, "Oh my God, you sound identical, you look identical to your brother, you move like your brother, you've got the same sense of humor. Are you the same person?" But no, Sam's fantastic. He taught me a lot that day. I remember I actually had a little bit of training with him way back, and he was just getting ready. He was coming back from his knee surgery, so he was just trying to knock the rust off. And he chose me to wrestle me in the ring at training, and I was like petrified. But you've just got to knuckle up and go, "Yep, I'll do it." At calm, casual. But I remember my brother sent me a really good message that Sam sent saying, Rob's going to go far, like he's really good, and that just meant the world to me. The self was, one of my favorites. I always send my matches to my brother, and he really liked it. My peers liked it. Saxon Huxley was there, and Amir Jordan. Those guys were always very kind with the words. So no, Sam, he is truly fantastic, and he's a huge human, by the way. He is absolutely huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, the plan was set in stone. You went out, you cashed in at the end of the night, and let's just have a look at this. The new UBW Unstoppable British Heavyweight Champion. And I think that picture says it all, to be honest with you. But that looks very familiar to a certain brother of yours. He would pull that face, wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's a little callback, a little nod to my brother. It's always good to. Obviously, I want to be my own person, and I want to make my own path. But he is my brother, and he's helped me out loads. And and in the future, I want to work with him. So it'd be silly to pretend I'm not his brother. I've got to have those certain what's the word I'm looking for? Similarities. There's certain similarities. I'm not going to hide away from them. I can be my own person and be, the brother of James Drake. I can do both. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But a hell of a thrill for you to walk away with that championship. I don't know, is it your first bit of a gold? Is it your first taste of championship gold?
Yeah, absolutely. My first championship. Yeah, man, it's just crazy. This year's just been really mental. I can't believe it. Just in one year, just absolutely just smashed it. Worked my ass off. I feel like I deserve it. I know it's not. You want to stay humble. Of course, I'm humble, but I have put in a lot of work this year.
Yeah.
So I feel like I do deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to break all that down, and we're going to talk about what a fantastic 2022 it's been for you and kind of how you got to this level. But I know that after the match, one of the first things you did, and I was very grateful for this, is you came and saw me. We did a backstage promo. What I want to talk to you about next is your character and about the King of Bedlam character. But before I do that, I just want to quickly play, and I don't know if you've seen this back since, but I want to play that interview from after the match. Here we go. Join us backstage here at Unstoppable British Wrestling. Let me introduce to you the brand new Unstoppable champion, the King of Bedlam, Rob Drake. Come and join me. Congratulations on your win this evening. You cashed in after winning the #1 contenders match earlier on. You must be feeling pretty proud.
Let's keep this short and sweet, mate. I've got a hot fiance at home that's waiting for me with a brand new title to add to our collection. I'm going to make this real clear. I prove to everyone I belong with all these ex-WWE superstars. Don't get me wrong, I'm not delusional. Sam Gradwell is the best of the best. And guess what? I beat him. And Phil, yeah, he's got fighting spirit. He's not too smart though, is he? I cashed in. I won this. Anything else?
No. Congratulations.
You're welcome.
So that was a fun interview, but I mean, it does get across your character, the King of Bedlam character. For anybody that might not be too familiar with yourself, if you've not popped up onto their radar in 2022, and I'm sure they will very, very soon, and especially after watching this, in a nutshell, describe who the King of Bedlam is. So when you walk out there, what do you try and get across?
You know what? I've gone back and forth in my brain with who is the King of Bedlam, what they represent. And I'm still trying to figure that out. I've still not 100% got him, but basically he is someone who I have been given the keys to the throne, essentially. You know, I'm going to name drop him a lot in this podcast, but he is one of the best. He is one of the best. My brother, James Drake, you know, he has helped me out tremendously, and he gave me the keys. And I have, you know, a fairly big set of shoes to fill. So I feel entitled. You know, this King of Bedlam, yeah, I'm entitled. I am the king. I can walk into the place and act like I own the joint because I am good. I've been taught by the best, and I wrestle the best, and I put on good matches. So when I think of King of Bedlam, I look back and I want to bring that old school, classic 80s, you know, heavyweight championship wrestler. I feel like we're missing these superstars these days, and I want to be a superstar. I want people to, you know, I want to walk in the street and people look at me and go, there's something about him. And that's what every time I walk out, you know, into an arena or a venue, whatever, I want people, you know, all eyes on me. I want to turn heads, and I've got a point to prove. Those shoes I've got to fill. It doesn't matter if he's giving me all the tools. If I can't use them, what's the point? So, you know what? I am the character King of Bedlam. You know, calling yourself a king is pretty pompous. But, you know, I feel it. I feel like this big heavyweight wrestler when I come out. And Bedlam, you know, my brother gave me the name Bedlam. So, you know, he's Mr. Mayhem. He called me Bedlam. So I could see this going in so many different directions. But for now, I definitely want to dive into that superstar 80s classic wrestler, heavyweight wrestler. That's what I want to be. Yeah. And my style, you know, that's the type of style I try and do now. I probably rambled on there.
Not at all. And like I said, I think you summed it up perfectly there. And I think that the main thing that comes across to me and to a lot of the fans is the confidence. And I think that's kind of a big factor with the King of Bedlam character is the confidence. And it's not necessarily, you know, arrogance. It's the confidence, and you're able to back it up in the ring. But like I say, this is an evolution for you, isn't it? You know, who knows where it might end, or who knows where it might change, or what direction you might go in. And we're going to talk about your tag team with Isaac North a bit later as well, because that kind of takes you off in a slightly different direction as well. But I'm just going to bring up a recent picture of yourself, and I think that picture also demonstrates who the King of Bedlam is for sure. But tell us a bit about your wrestling style then, because you touched on it there, and you want to model yourself on kind of like the heavyweight, you know, hard hitter, the kind of 1980s kind of confident grappler, pro wrestler. But how would you describe your in-ring work and some of your kind of typical moves?
You know what? For a long time, because when I first started wrestling, not training, when I became a professional wrestler, made my debut, I was a lot smaller, like frame wise, so I was able to move a lot faster and, you know, climb the top. I could still climb the top rope and stuff, but I was definitely a lot quicker, and my style was pretty much identical to my brother's. And then I've always wanted to be a big guy, so packed on a load of size. Worked really hard for that, like to just get big as big as possible. But, you know, reality is the heavier you are, the slower you're going to be, and that's just fact. So I'm slower, but I hit harder, and everything means more. So the style I want to do is I want everything to mean something. Okay, so whether that's, you know, a clothesline, you know, a body slam, or even my footwork. I want everyone watching to realize I'm doing everything with reason. There's a lot of styles out there. You know, everyone's a fan of something. I personally, I don't like styles where there's a lot of, craziness, a lot of in between bits to then just hit something. I'll hit you and I'll floor you. That's as simple as it gets. And that's the old school style of wrestling. You watch your Ric Flairs, watch your Steamboats. They're not boring. It makes it sound like I'm saying I don't want to do a lot. I'll do everything.
Yeah.
But everything I do has to have a reason. I've got to have a reason to do it. If you want me to run 100 times, why am I running 100 times?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the kind of stuff I've always loved and what I want to do. And I'm still learning. Like, I am nowhere near my brother's level. Like, ain't no way near. So I am always learning, and I'll never be perfect. But I strive to be perfect.
Let's talk about certain individual you know very well, Lana, because we mentioned this weekend was a very busy weekend for you. But on Friday, you was at a BWR show, weren't you? And you accompanied Lana to the ring for her championship match against Tonga. There you are on the poster in the background. Elliot 93. What a fantastic graphic designer he is. But I know he's done some work for you and some for me as well. But I know that you and Lana have tagged before. You've even worked against one another before, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But to walk out there as her manager or bodyguard, henchman, heavy, I don't know. But that kind of looks like a lot of fun. And like I say, knowing how amazing Lana is as a wrestler and as a character, and you kind of bouncing off of that with your heel persona, must have been a lot of fun on the evening.
Oh, I could listen. This is going to be a long conversation about Lana, because she honestly, as much as my brother helps me out, and as much as all these, great wrestlers I'm surrounded with, like, my inner circle is phenomenal, and I do not take that for granted. But Lana has legit turned me from a boy to a man, and my performance is just on another level, and it's all thanks to her. She brought out a confidence in me. She helps me even outside of wrestling. She means the absolute world to me. I love that photo of us. We just look like dicks, don't we? We're just like, dicks, but you want to boo, but you just want to watch. But she's genuinely one of the best wrestlers in the UK, and she's the hardest worker I know. I don't know if I can say too much. I'll let her talk about it, but she's dealt with a lot of stuff. We both personally dealt with a lot of stuff over the last 2 years, things that a normal human being should retire on, but she's been persistent and gone, this isn't going to stop me. She's got 3 wonderful kids. She's busy all the time, and she still makes the effort to go to the gym every day, to do wrestling training, to wrestle 2-3 times every weekend, and then comes back and is in bits, in pain. And guess what? She gets up and does it again. And I get to see that firsthand, and that motivates me more than anything. And I go, I want to be where you are. And she's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a great motivational force, isn't it? Having somebody like Lana by your side and kind of watching, the passion and the energy that she puts into absolutely everything. And of course, she's got the biggest match of her life this coming Sunday in the ballroom for Progress, and I'll be there for the Progress World Championship.
It's going to be a good one,
Yeah.
I have no idea who's going to win. That's genuine. I don't know. So it's either going to be, it's going to be teary eyes no matter what, because even to get to that level where she is putting an ungodly amount of work. And I do believe, I think she needs to start getting the recognition she deserves. She's a legend. I know when I was a fan, a few 5 years ago, I'm still a fan, but 5 years ago I was at a show with my dad, Fighting Spirit show, and she came out. And I remember I just fell in love then. But yeah, I watched her and I was like, she's a superstar. She was the one of the two people I remembered after that, and I was like, wow, yeah, she's got it. It's this Sunday, mate. She's bringing. Come on, to add to the collection.
It's going to be a great match, and I'm going to be there. I can't wait. Well, my curious question is: you obviously accompanied Lana out to the ring for that BWR show. Are you likely to be the fourth member of the Lana Austin experience?
Well, we don't know.
Never say never.
Never say never. She's always got a trick up her sleeve. Let's just leave it at that.
There we go. We shall see. We shall see. But out of all the matches, and it's a super show, it's 12 matches this Sunday. It's going to be a long old show. But out of all the matches, I think that's the one that's got me intrigued the most because it's been a great story that Lana and Kanji and the Lana Austin experience have been telling over the last few months. So I can't wait to see how that unfolds. But we did have a question come through. Let's just quickly bring it up if I can find it. But from Jay White, a good friend of the show, good friend of mine, Immortal Wrestling promoter. Have you wrestled Lana before in a straight-up singles match? And if not, would you? Now, I know the answer to that, and you have, haven't you? And it was on the Unstoppable British Wrestling this past summer in June. Now, I know that you two have tagged before, but to go one-on-one, that must have been another fun experience.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, another learning experience for me. I have been so grateful. The amount of talent I've wrestled this year, it's just been non-stop, and they keep getting better and better and better, and I'm just astounded by it. It's a blessing, and I'm really, promoters, have enough faith in me to go, yeah, we want you to work with these guys, and we know you're gonna have a good match with them. But yeah, wrestling my fiance, and not just my fiance, Lana Austin, who's like, a legend, by the way, a veteran. So that's already double nerve-wracking. I remember she so I was like, well, I don't know. I'm going to hit you really hard. I might, I just don't. And she's like, no, you do not pull anything. You hit me as hard as you hit everyone else, because that's the respect I deserve. And I went, yeah, you're right then. And I bloody belted her. She gave it back, but it was a hard hitting match, and it was really fun, and I learned a lot from that match. Inadvertently, gave her a big falcon arrow, and the ring wasn't the best, and it totaled her. Bless her, but carried on, and what a trooper.
100%.
Speaking of the devil,
hello.
100%.
Hello. She's making a.
I can hear the voice, so I recognise the voice. But here we go, the superstar Lana Austin making a surprise appearance live on Wrestling with Jonas. How you doing, Lana?
I should have put my glasses on and everything, shouldn't I? I'm good.
Lana, we've just been talking about kind of what a great motivational force you are on Rob. And he's been obviously bigging you up, of course, but your kind of relationship as two pros. He escorted you to the ring in BWR this past Friday. I asked him if he'd ever consider being a fourth member of the Lana Austin experience. What do you reckon?
Definitely.
That'd
be so cool.
That would be cool. That would be cool. And we were just talking about your match that you had together in June for Unstoppable, and like I say, you didn't want him to go light on you, and likewise, you didn't hold back with him either. What are your kind of thoughts and recollections to that match? Because from what Rob said, it was a great match.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. But it was the same like when I wrestled him and when I wrestled my brother once. Like I say to them, like don't hold back on anything. Like treat me like you would treat me when you're wrestling one of the guys and stuff like that. And they both did. They both beat me up, but I give it back. So
yeah. And like I say, I just want to wish you all the best for your big match on Sunday against Kanji. I'm going to be there. I can't wait. Probably one of the biggest matches of your career.
On.
Say that again.
Who are you going to be cheering on, me or Kanji?
Well, I hope Lee McAteer's not watching this, but I'll be cheering on you, Lana. Yeah. Best of luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Lana. Take care. There you go. What a cameo. You can't ask for a bigger cameo than that, can you, eh? Superstar Lana Austin just dropping on the Wrestling with John's podcast.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. I'm going to bring up a picture. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think it's fucking excellent, and I don't often swear on my podcast, but this picture here. Now, the lighting, you talk about the King of Bedlam. There's something immortal about you in that picture, something godlike. But you must love that picture because you look like some sort of Greek god, some sort of statue in that picture.
Definitely, yeah, that is so cool. And, I'm very photogenic. Like, it's the hair, it's the beard, I don't say so myself. I've got good arms, got good shoulders, good biceps, it was really cool. The guy who took the photos, Bear Vision, I believe his name is. I apologize if I've got that wrong. He is phenomenal. He sent me a load of photos, and he did an outstanding job. I couldn't believe it, the work he did. But no, that was a really cool photo. I've got a few cool photos. But I think that one that was definitely one of my favorites. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll credit in the description, in the link, who took that one, because that's a great picture. And another interesting point, when we were up in Burnley for UBW last month, we did the interview backstage, and then I was kind of just generally chatting to you, really, and talking about how long you'd been in the business. Now, we'll probably get into this in a bit more depth in a minute, but you said properly, John, only about 1 year. And my jaw hit the floor. Now, we obviously spoken about James and, the relationship you have with your brother and how long that, his career goes back. But your response seems, like I say, very interesting to me. But if you could expand on that, because why do you only kind of take the last 12 months as opposed to the time before?
Okay, so is my wrestling career so crazy? It's like, so I officially started wrestling training when I was 10 years old, in year 6. So yeah, 10 years old. Carried on and off until I was about 13. Wrestling training back then, was brutal. And, some of the trainers who aren't even in wrestling today, thank God, were just absolutely taking liberties into their own hands and treating me really bad. I won't lie about it, and it really messed me up as a young adult, actually. It carried on. I got bullied. I remember one time we had to flip tires, tractor tires, and I'm a 12-year-old lad who didn't have the physical strength to lift the tractor tire, no matter how much I would have wanted it to. And so I was trying to lift up this tractor tire, and I got cussed out in front of everyone saying I didn't want it. I wasn't, do you really want it? Clearly not. This guy wants it more because he can lift it. And I was like, well, I guess I don't want it then. I must be rubbish at everything. And then that actually stuck with me for so many years, over a decade. And I got really unfit and unhealthy for a long period of time. And so I found the gym, started to lose weight. And then I found wrestling again. My brother won the NXT tag titles, and I watched it. And I kind of went, that I could do that. And I actually believe I could be where he is. I genuinely believe it. I believe I can be there. So I picked up training when I was 24 again. I think 23, 24. Trained for like 6-7 months. I did 6 weeks of the camps, wrestled 4 times a day, 6 times a week, had like 60 odd matches, something like that. And then wrestled a couple more times. And then the big one was with my brother. That was like my big break. There we go. There's the photo of me and my brother. Look how young I am there.
I think it was that show, wasn't it? Future Shock, Longfield Suite in Prestwick. But,
yes. That was the one, yeah. me and my brother. So I wrestled my brother, and I was like, "This is it, man! I'm booming now. Career's gonna go flying now." And I dislocated my knee. A week or so later, and then COVID hit. So wrestling stopped. But I didn't wrestle for a couple of years, and then a year ago from now, roughly, picked it up, and I've been doing it non-stop for a year now. For one entire year, for the first time in my life, I have done wrestling professionally. So that's why I go, I've only really been doing it for a year.
Yeah.
It's more of a year and a half. But yeah, crazy. It's just a timeline.
It is, yeah. And I just want to kind of point out some of the promotions you've worked for, certainly in the last 12 months. And there's probably loads that I haven't got on this list here, but TNT, of course, UBW, we've spoken about them, Odyssey Pro, Evolution, North, Wrestling Society, Coliseum, Catch Pro, BWR, LWF, and the list goes on and on and on. Some pretty cool groups there, Rob, that you've debuted for, that you've performed for. I'm sure that probably a lot of those were debuts as well over the last 12 months or so, and some great experiences for some of them groups, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. I think literally all of them were debuts.
Yeah.
Every single one. Except for TNT, I did wrestle for TNT once, just before lockdown. The day after I wrestled my brother, I actually wrestled for TNT. But I think every other one was a debut this year. Really burst onto the scene. I just caught like wildfire. And I was getting busier and busier and busier until now. I mean, next week it's in December. I was always told December's a quiet month. Well, I'm wrestling. I've got 4 shows. I've got TNT. I've got UBW. I've got Wrestling Society, and I've got Catch. So 4 days in the space of 5 days. Definitely down for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming back out of lockdown, obviously you had used that time to recover and to recuperate and to get to a size or a weight that you were happy with, because you mentioned that you kind of ballooned up and then you kind of had to get yourself back to a physical state that you were happy with. Coming out of lockdown, were the bookings there straight away? Did you hit the ground running, or was it kind of a bit of a process where it kind of came in slowly and then things started picking up? Tell us about kind of how the momentum started, certainly with the bookings.
You know what? This is a great question, mate. And it was a real good learning experience for me, because I had a chip on my shoulder because I'm James Drake's brother. You know what I mean? Like, I should be getting everywhere. I think I'm good enough, whatever. And it just wasn't happening. I was messaging promoters left, right, and center, and they're all just, there's nothing really they can see of mine, recently. But I'll give credit where credit's due. Odyssey Pro Wrestling, they've treated me, like one of their own. They gave me my first booking in Blackpool, and then from then on it was like 1 or 2 a month, but then it would start to be like 2 and 3 a month, and then 5 and 6, and then it just caught like wildfire. I can't really. I'll need to have a look back at my matches, because there must have been a match that I had, or word got around that I'm not so bad. And then that's where it snowballs. The snowball effect happens when you have a good reputation behind you, and the word gets around. Promoters get to know you, and I think that's what happened. I forgot what your question was.
No, you've answered it perfectly. And like I say, I was just very intrigued as to kind of whether it was you hit the ground running, or whether it was a slow process, a snowball process, and you explained it perfectly there. But the next part of that question is, when did you feel that you started getting more confident in what you were doing? Because obviously this is a learning process for you and an ongoing process. And yes, you're James Drake's brother. But like I say, was there a moment or a time or a match where you felt that you'd hit your stride?
You know what, mate? It was only until recently I hit my stride is okay. So there's two different questions there, because hitting your stride is something else. I felt like I hit my stride once bookings kept on coming.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean I'm confident. I what I did was, for a long time, is I put a front on. You have to look confident. If you go out there and you don't look confident, people aren't going to be interested. But let me tell you, those times my heart was pounding. I was like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. Not ready for this. Before it came out, especially with North. I got booked at North in the tag match with Lana, and it was against Session Moth and Clint Majera. You know, three very well established people, and me, who's like, you know, new kid on the block. So the confidence wasn't there. I'd say I hit a stride in my confidence in my LWF match against Lachlan Sharp. I just went out there, and I wasn't nervous. I was just me. I was in the moment. And I remember the match that we had was a last man standing, and it was just a violent, horrible, hard hitting match. And this character of me just came out, and I was just on autopilot. And I remember it was so real and visceral. And then when I came back, I was like, yeah, this is Rob Drake. This is the guy. This is the guy that's going to go places. This is the very early stages of him, and he's going to get better and better and better. And now I just feel super confident. I know what I am, and I know I'm good. I had a match with Brady Phillips, who, by the way, doesn't get nearly enough recognition as he should. He is. He should be signed. It's a travesty he's not. He is so unbelievably good. And I was, you know, I got booked to have a match with him. And I was watching him, and he was the boogeyman to me, because I watched him and he would maul people. I saw him catch Scotty Rourke. Scotty Rourke did a flip, a cannonball, and he caught it midair and powerbombed him. He one-arm powerbombed him. And I was like, this is the boogeyman, and you better be ready. You might be wrestling him. Well, a couple months down the line, I am wrestling him. So it was a very hard-hitting match, and I'm really proud of that match. So that's a good confidence booster, but now I feel unstoppable. No pun intended.
No, absolutely. And Unstoppable British Wrestling have been in touch. They are watching, saying great champion. And there we go. Thank you very much for watching. And there we go. You're kind of telling us something we don't already know there. But there we go.
Of course, I know I'm a great champion. It's me. Come on.
Absolutely. And another viewer watching via YouTube, Adam Wright, says, please get Rob Drake to join the Lana Austin experience. Who knows? Watch his space. But like I say, that would be fun. But I need to ask you, I want to take a bit of a deep dive now, because what sort of relationship did yourself and James have growing up? And certainly when it revolved around pro wrestling. I mean, I'm guessing the two of you were into wrestling from an early age. And it probably kind of had an impact on both your childhoods. What do you remember specifically about yourself and James growing up as wrestling fans?
You know, best childhood ever. I adore my brother so much. We were thick as thieves. We were close. We never really, we bickered. You know, everyone's going to bicker. You know, if you're with someone 24/7, you're going to fall out over something stupid. Yeah. But we never serious. So as growing up as a child, you know, it was excellent. I couldn't ask for a better childhood. As far as wrestling goes, I actually got into wrestling before my brother, and I was 5 years old, I believe. My friend in primary school showed me Kane versus Undertaker or Kane and Undertaker segment on a Monday Night Raw with Stone Cold on it, and I watched Kane come out, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was the segment where the cameraman is on the stage and Kane just sets him on fire, and I couldn't believe what I saw. I was like, this guy's crazy, no way. And then my mate Sam, he went, oh, and did you know Undertaker's his brother? And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what do you mean he's his brother? So I went home. I went to Woolworths the next day, and I went to the wrestling toy aisle. And I saw Kane, and I snatched him as quickly as I could. I got Kane, I got Matt Hardy, and then I got SmackDown 2 as well on the PS1, and it was just game over from then on. I was just hooked. You could never separate me and wrestling. And then when I played SmackDown 2, my brother's 2.5 years older than me. So when we played SmackDown 2, he watched it and was like, I'll have a go on it. And then he got hooked. He got hooked with wrestling. And then we were just wrestling figure mad. We'd get every wrestling figure we possibly could. And I'd eat, sleep, breathe wrestling. There was nothing else that came close to it. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Did you have any favourites growing up? Did you have any favourite wrestlers or any wrestling heroes?
Yeah, so my favourite wrestlers growing up were Undertaker and Kane. No one comes close. Undertaker and Kane, I was obsessed with. And then you'd go Undertaker and Kane here, and then like your Triple H's, Chris Jericho's, your Edge, Eddie Guerrero. Who else? There's probably a lot on there.
That's a good collection already.
Yeah. Like those are my guys. You know, I didn't really grow up. I actually kind of missed the Attitude Era. I had to watch it back. So Stone Cold wasn't actually on the list. Now as an adult, as a performer, Stone Cold is one of my all-time favorites. He's phenomenal. Yeah. But I kind of missed him. I kind of missed Stone Cold. The Rock was up there. I got a bit of The Rock. But yeah, no one topped Undertaker and Kane.
Yeah, and like I say, I'm of an age where I kind of remember all of that. So I've been following wrestling since the late 80s and early 90s, and like I say, sampled and saw all of those kind of become what they became and the legends they are today. But did you always have the desire to one day become a pro wrestler? And did you and your brother kind of have that kind of inspirational moment thinking, yeah, I want to be a pro wrestler?
So I know I did. I always saw myself, you know, under the bright lights, just wrestling. I could never picture myself doing anything else. And then when, you know, teachers would go, what do you want to be when you're older? I would go, wrestler. And they go, come on, what do you actually want to be? So unheard of. No one ever said they wanted to be a wrestler in my school except me. As far as my brother's concerned, I'm not too sure. I know when he started wrestling training, he just picked it up, and then that, I think that was when he really fell in love with it. Then I feel like he was a fan. I feel like I was the bigger fan, but then he just latched onto it. And I think that I can't really answer that really. I don't really know when it became like a reality for him, like, oh, I could do this for a living. Yeah. But no, he's been a big fan as far as long as I know, you know.
Yeah. And kind of looking at more recent times for yourself, it's been a tremendous 12 months for you. And like I say, a real breakout year where you've branched out to so many promotions, so many debuts, so many great opportunities and matches. Have you got any favourite opponents or matches from the last 12 months that you kind of look back on fondness and maybe help to push you up to that next level?
Yeah. So off the top of my head, Lana, Sam, Gradwell, Brady Phillips, Philip Michael, Daz Black. Gosh, there's a good few amount of guys that wrestled that are incredible. But those five bounce off the top of my head. I've had a dabble with, and I mean this tiniest bit of dabble with Leon Slater. And he friggin'
great athlete. Yeah.
Oh, God, mate. I'm such a big fan of him. He is the future. You can't ever replicate what he does because he's just one of a kind. But yeah, I wrestle a little bit of Darius, a tiny bit. I love Darius. There's so many more. Bullet. I tagged with Bullet.
Yeah.
Gosh. I just don't want to. I don't want to miss anyone out.
No. You've listed a good a good collection of names there of people that you've encountered over the last 12 months. And like I say, I think we've all kind of seen you grow and flourish over the last 12 months to the point where, you know, you're on a hell of a lot of people's radars. And I mean, looking to the future, I mean, we're getting close to the end of the year. You say you got a busy December, but then we're into 2023. Where do you see kind of the next 6 to 12 months going for yourself as a character, as a performer, as an athlete, as a pro wrestler, and maybe as a champion? I mean, obviously we can't tell what the future holds, but I'm guessing you'd like to be in more places over the next 12 months?
Yeah, of course. So short-term goals, progress. I really want to be on progress. You know, I know a lot of people do, but I've put a lot of work in this year. I've worked my ass off this year. No one can ever take that away from me. One thing I'll answer it in a second. I ramble on so much. But, one thing I always want to do with wrestling, even if I don't make it to the top, as long as I put in max effort, if I put in 100%, let's say I get nowhere, I know I can be at peace with that. I've done everything I can possibly do, so it is what it is. But you know, as far as short term, yeah, progress, ICW, those two, I'm eyeing up those two next year. And I want to wrestle, or you know, I want to wrestle North again. I'm wrestling at Pro next year. I'm really looking forward to that. More TNT. Let's see where we can go with this storyline with Isaac. You know, Catch. I love Catch. I remember last year I would go to Catch, hope, you know, with aspirations of trying to be on that show. So I've got like a soft spot for Catch. Yeah, everywhere, mate.
Yeah.
Anywhere, just have me on. You know what I mean? Like, I want to wrestle. I want to put on a show for people. And I want people to be like, bloody hell, he's frigging good, that guy.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know what? And one thing I want people to know or to understand about me is like, just, I'm a kind guy. You know, I just want, kindness is free. And everyone should be kind to everyone. There's a lot of negativity in wrestling. Okay? And this really, it's a ridiculous sport. We're wrestling out undeep, for God's sake. Come on. There should never be so much negativity. So be kind. Just be kind. And it goes a long way. It just does.
100%. Couldn't
Bloody
agree more.
right.
No, that's fine. This is your show. And Adam Wright's been in touch again, and he's doing a bit of fantasy booking for you. He'd love to see you wrestle Big Damo in a progress ring for the Atlas title. And bearing in mind your style and your methodology about pro wrestling, bit of an old school kind of old school throwback, old school wrestler. Big Damo, I think for your heavy hitting style, I think he'd be a great opponent.
Absolutely. I mean, did you watch him and Luke Jacobs?
Oh,
you know, friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll try and paste Big Demo, but I tell you what, if I try and paste him, I'm getting flattened. You know, I'm ready. I'd absolutely love to wrestle Big Demo. I think he's phenomenal. He's another guy I look up to, and I get a little bit starstruck, you know, because he's just that style that I go, oh, that's a cool style. That's a style I like. But no, that'd be an honor. I'd love to do that.
Absolutely. And the very excellent tag team partner of Luke Jacobs, Ethan Allen, watching at home via YouTube. Thank you very much. Wrestle me, you big stink. So have you wrestled? Have you been in the ring with Ethan before? I know Ethan is kind of coming back from one or two injuries, but that would be an amazing match. And I'm going to say this on camera: Ethan is, say, one of the best up and coming talents in the UK, and hopefully we'll see him back in the ring soon. But yourself and Ethan, that would be pretty tasty.
Yeah, Ethan's a close friend of mine. Hence why he's called me Big Stink, you little punk. Ethan's ridiculously good. He's a guy who's, you know, I talk about the inner circle. And he's so much younger than me, but I would go to him. I'd send him my matches. What do you think of this? Or can I do this better? Or whatever. His mind for wrestling is phenomenal, and not only just his mind. Like, you just watch his performance. I watched him a match at Catch, and I was in it. I wasn't watching it as a observer. I was watching it as a fan, and he drew me in. And I remember going backstage. I was mesmerized. He is so freaking good. He could be wherever he wants to be. He is that good. I believe he's the future, and I hope his knee, 100% heals. I don't want that to hold him back anymore. But yeah, come on, Ethan, you little punk. I'll wrestle, yeah.
There we go. It's got to happen. And now that we've kind of got it out on the Wrestling with Jonas podcast, it's out in the universe. It will happen for sure. I'm going to bring up another couple of pictures. And how about this guy here? Isaac North. You two as a tag team, we alluded to it at the top of the show from Liverpool Comic Con. Now, let me get the name of your tag team here. You might need to remind me because my notes are a bit all over the place. The Temple of Malum. When did you two form this alliance, this tag team between the two of you? And tell us how it's going so far. Because I mean, I'm going to bring up that picture again, and to be honest with you, it's quite a scary picture. I mean, you got two intimidating big guys there, and we spoke earlier about how big and intimidating Isaac North is, and then yourself there as well, the King of Bedlam. That's a force to be reckoned with, and a force on the UK tag team scene at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know. I can't remember how it came along. I think me and Isaac tagged once at UBW. I actually never met him before. But we just hit it off. Like, it was just natural chemistry. And everyone, said, bloody hell, you guys, like, how long have you been tagging for? Well, this is our first time. And everyone was blown away. They're like, what? What do you mean? So I think that Isaac, the spark, he came out, I was like, oh, this might be something here. And he's good friends with Jay Apter, the promoter of TNT, and he was spitballing ideas. And, I've always wanted to get on TNT. And I know Jay, wanted me on. He just wanted me, to have a decent spot. He wanted me to have a good, storyline. Didn't want to just bring me in for the sake of it. So he just waiting for the sweet moment. And then Temple of Malum came along. Originally, I was supposed to be basically twins with Isaac, face paint, everything. I did it. I did the face paint. We did promo shots and everything. It wasn't me. I'm not King. It's not King of Bedlam. I still want to be the King of Bedlam. I'm still Rob. I need to be Rob Drake because, I've done so well being me to then be this other character. I feel like I'll be, doing myself a disservice there. So I love the dynamic we're doing now where he's my monster. I get to control him. And, even though we're a tag team, I don't think anyone's really done that in the UK before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Where
sounds quite unique. Yeah.
Yeah, so unique. That's what I mean. I want unique. And we don't have to have these flashy tag moves. I just have to go, Isaac, pick him up and kick his head in. Just whatever. Squash his head, slam him. And then that's what I want. Bark orders at him. And he just looks, he's just this lanky, scary creature. Looks like a Wendigo or something.
He is like a monster, Yeah. I wouldn't want to mess with him.
No, I'm big. I'm a big guy. And he's bigger than me. So that's what I mean. It looks good. It feels good. I'm excited to see where this goes with Isaac.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at this because one match you've got to look forward to. This coming Thursday, next Thursday, the 1st of December. Tornado Tag Wars, Cold Day in Hell, TNT Extreme from Hangar 34 in Liverpool. And you've got the Greedy Souls there, Kings of the North, Sunshine Machine, and yourself and Isaac there in a Four Corners Tornado Tag match. That is worth the price of admission. That's going to be, that's going to blow the roof off. That's going to tear the walls down. That's going to be an awesome Four Corners Tornado Tag.
That's going to be bonkers. Talk about being thrown into the deep end. I'm in there with three of the most established tag teams in the UK scene right now. And me and Isaac are brand spanking new. So it's a big task, but I believe we're ready. I have more than enough faith in our ability, and I think we're going to smash it. We're going to impress a lot of people. We're going to show them what we're capable of. Hopefully, we're scared.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to have this brooding vibe, this, you know, horror vibe about it. I want to be Frankenstein with Frankenstein's monster, you know. Yeah, I'm going to make him hurt people. I'm going to make him try and kill the other 6 people in that match. It's not going to be pleasant for them. I'll tell you that. Like I say, it will be a cold day in hell, you know.
Absolutely. And what about this one? And I think this is a couple of days later, Saturday the 3rd, back in Unstoppable British Wrestling. Former champion Philip Michael versus yourself, the champion. And this will be your first title defense against the former champion in a scheduled one-on-one match. We know how good Philip Michael is. Put on a fantastic display against Lance Rivera at the last show. Before, I think that was a draw, that match, a double pinfall or something. Then you came out and capitalized. But like I say, it's going to be on even ground, even setting between the two of you in this rematch of sorts. But that's going to be another match to look forward to. And you said earlier what a great performer Philip Michael is.
Yeah, he's great. This will technically in the record books, this will technically be the 3rd time I've wrestled him, because I wrestled him once this summer, and then obviously the very quick match with him at the last UBW. But no, yeah, he's really good. He's come a long way. I actually had one of my favorite matches with him this year. It was ridiculously hot. It was sweaty, and we couldn't breathe. But everything we did meant something. Like I was talking before, everything we did meant something, and you know the drama was there. But no, he's good. I'm just better, you know. I'm gonna beat him up real hard. I'm gonna show him, you know, there's a new guy in town. He's done great. He's kept it real nice and warm for me, the belt. But you know, make way.
Absolutely, 100%. But like I say, look into the future. You've got a very bright future. Certainly 2023 around the corner as a singles performer, and in that tag team, the Temple of Malum, which looks very scary, very intimidating, not just for the fans but for your opponents. And I can see you two going a long way. So quite an exciting future for yourself.
Oh yeah. It's hard to grasp sometimes. Sometimes I need to do a little switching off in my brain, because it's with wrestling, as many wrestlers know, it's 24/7. You know, you don't really switch off, and you just have to be grateful for the moment. You know, you have to be in the moment and try and soak it up, because you never know what tomorrow brings. You know, a pandemic happened and it took away what we love. So just be grateful for what you've got. Be grateful for what you've done. But no, I believe 2023 will be crazy big for me. I do. I think it'll be really, really big. I'm going to burst onto the scene even more, and I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it. I'm going to do it with her as well. More exciting. I want to do a lot more with her. Yeah, it's going to be great.
There we go. So many different avenues you can go down, and it's so exciting with your character still developing, the tag team, your solo work, and like I say, the work you're doing with Lana as well. Very, very exciting. Watch your space. Rob Drake's going to be all over the place. But before we let you go, a couple of things I need to do. First of all, I got to announce my guest for next week. Now, as I said at the top of the podcast, this month, November, marks the 4th anniversary of Wrestling with Johners, and we've interviewed hundreds of people from all over the world. And like I say, Rob Drake is episode 270, and like I say, damn fine interview and a fantastic talent. But this month alone, we've already had Joseph Connors, we've had Elijah, we've had Kelly Six, I've had part 1 of my Adrian Street and Miss Linda interview for my Legends Masterclass series. But next week, Let me bring up the picture. We've got Scott Bell, referee extraordinaire, on Tuesday, the 29th. So next Tuesday, 8 p.m. live on the Wrestling with John's podcast. Can't wait to speak to Scott about what a fantastic career he's had. No less, he's a fantastic 2022. Reffing for 1PW, and I've seen him ref many times for Wrestle Carnival, and including the match that he refed for Scotty Too Hotty, Scott Garland. So that would be great to speak to Scott about his fantastic year and his great career in the wrestling business. And if you tune into that interview next Tuesday with Scott Bell, I will also be announcing my entire lineup for December, and I've got some amazing guests coming on in December. I want to say amazing, I mean it. You don't want to miss those interviews. Don't miss out that interview, first of all, with Scott Bell. But back over to you, Rob. For my fans, followers, for anybody watching or listening at home, if they want to get in touch with you, if they want to reach out, say hi, get to learn more about the King of Bedlam, Rob Drake, or maybe watch some of your matches or buy some of your merch, point us in the right direction, my friend. I am going to bring up all of your socials, or as many as I could find along the bottom of the screen. But the floor is yours, my friend. Where can we reach out and say hi?
Yeah, like it says there, Instagram at Rob Drake Pro, Twitter Rob Drake Pro again. Merch is robdrake.bigcartel.com. You know, I have sold out of t-shirts, I will say, but I am definitely looking to get some more very soon. But yeah, you know, welcome more followers. I love for people to, you know, follow my journey. It's going to be a big 2023. Let me tell you that it's going to be huge. So you want to stay around and stick with me. I can't wait. Mate. I'll be honest.
Yeah, he's
and it's going to be even better.
A star of the future, but in my opinion, he's a star right now. And like I say, it's been a pleasure speaking to you for a little over an hour. It's fantastic getting the cameo from superstar Lana Austin there ahead of her match this coming Sunday for the Progress Women's World Championship. But for yourself, my friend, like I say, I think your future is doesn't hold any bounds at all. And like I say, currently the unstoppable British wrestling heavyweight champion. Next year, who knows? Tag gold, singles gold. But I think you've got an exceptionally bright future. Can't wait to see what happens to you next. 2023 is going to be very, very exciting. But I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Cheers, mate. I really appreciate it. I've really loved it. You know, it's my first one. I'd love to do it sometime. But no, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.